For more than 1,200 days, we've waited. For more than 1,200 days, we starved for Blast to join us back in Portugal.
Lisbon, make some noise!
Today in Portugal, in Lisbon, a new king will rise.
Good luck, bro. Good luck.
Today, we will show everyone that we live and breathe Counter-Strike.
Saiwu peeks, stops Alexi B, and Jax is dead! OG falling back, that's precise, and he gets another over the top. Goddamn filthy! Absolutely filthy!
It is the Dream Team versus the Super Team from Portugal.
Roman, you know you want to slice and dice!
It's time for the grand final! Navi taking on Vitality.
Sundai Young turns his attention. Oh! All three! Sundai Young and Sundai again! And again! And again! Give it up for the Black Spring Final Grand Champions, Navi!
SDY, did you imagine this moment?
Yeah, I imagine it almost every day of my life. It's a really good moment.
Welcome to Blast Premiere 2022. 12 Blast Premier teams will begin their quest for victory in a season group stage. Teams seed each other, creating 3 groups of 4. These teams then play out a BO1 rapid-fire round to set their place in a cross-group gauntlet. BO3 Gauntlet will see 6 teams automatically qualify for the season final. The remaining 6 teams will be cast into the showdown, where they must fight to survive in a merciless single elimination format. Whilst there, they will be joined by one top global team by way of exclusive invitation. A further 9 additional teams will enter the fray, thanks to Blast Premier Regional Qualifiers, making it a truly open tournament, where even amateur teams have a chance to unseat the pros. For the first time, each seasonal showdown will be split across 2 regional tournaments. 8 teams will compete within a European and CIS bracket, whilst the remaining 8 will battle with the North America and rest of the world bracket. Victors of the showdown, 1 team from the European and CIS bracket, and 1 from the North America and rest of the world bracket, will secure their place in the season final to join the 6 teams from the group stage. The 8 finalists will face off in a GSL format, leading into a single elimination playoff bracket with quarters, semi, and grand finals. The champions of both the spring and fall seasons will be joined by exceptionally skilled teams, including winners of the CSGO Major, ESL Pro Leagues, as well as the 2 teams who top the global leaderboard. The global leaderboard is a year-long point-scoring system that takes into account the performance of Counter-Strike teams from leading tournaments from around the world. Teams accumulate points by winning matches and progressing as far as possible in these selected events. Teams hoping to qualify through the global leaderboard will have until November 28th to claim as many points as they can in a number of events, including both Blast Premier seasons and several leading tournaments. In the event of any duplicate winners, spots will be opened up to those who have fought their way to the top of the leaderboard. These 8 champion teams will come together for one last clash as they battle it out for a prize pool of $1 million. Join us in 2022 as victors are crowned and heroes are made.
return of the Blast Full Groups 2022 and a first day that delivered on every single level. Our debut group saw Astralis netting the crown of Group A on home soil and netting themselves also the top seed as we head into next week's gauntlet of games. I'm joined by Pimp Maniac. I just want to get your thoughts on that epic day number one after coming into our new season.
Look, you mentioned Astralis, and it has to be the highlight of day one. That game against Vitality on Mirage sure was a little bit messy, sure a couple of details to be ironed out, but just in terms of intensity, I really liked how both teams were looking for proof of concept of what Counter-Strike they're about to play, and we had Farling just surprising, defying the odds, leading the charge, and being the one player we have to talk about.
It was a good day of Counter-Strike, to be completely honest. We saw Spinks play well with Vitality as well. We saw Saivu return to somewhat of a great shape. We even saw, you know, Dexter struggle a little bit with OG, which makes it interesting for the gauntlet stage. So yeah, I think that was a positive takeaway for pretty much all teams yesterday, and it was just great to be back, you know, seeing some tier 1 Counter-Strike.
Yeah, of course, that is key. No eliminations coming out of yesterday, just kind of seeding, moving into our gauntlet of games next week. But we've also got to recap our CS Money play of the day. Maniac, who have we got coming in as player number 3?
Why, you name it, Anish had it here. We have our friend Zaiwu here doing work on Inferno with the AK-47. He truly rose to his incredible level yesterday. We saw the Zaiwu that I wanted to see for a long time, and that right there was a good example.
I want to see more of this guy. I want to see him return to his old form. Magis with the Glock showing up on Dust 2. Had a crazy round here against G2. OG, sorry, that is. Finding a couple of kills right here, finding a third one as well, going for a fourth in just a couple of seconds, shutting down OG completely, and of course Magix with a nice 4K with the Glock.
You wish it'd been an ace, but the winner is going to be Zip. Not exactly a name we're used to see in these highlights provided by CS Money, but his defense on Mirage on a couple of occasions has been stellar. Right there, it's another multi-kill with the silencer, good positioning, good understanding, could have almost gone for the ace.
He's back, he's back.
He said he was putting
He's back.
Yeah, he put a smile on your face, the first smile that I've seen throughout 2022.
He's never smiled, actually, in 2 years. I've never seen him smile.
Let's get a pimp smile count going on. But you will be smiling today because we have Group B on the cards with a hell of a lot of roster changes coming into this one. This is exactly what we have got on the cards today. Navi obviously coming in with STY sort of semi-permanently in here, at least until after the Rio Major. Of course, Simple, he will be returning for next week. I do have confirmation from the guys in production. Okay. So that's a spicy right one. Yeah, no, I've been told by production guys that is confirmed to be happening. But for the meantime, Headtrick is going to be standing in for him.
Yeah, and he's a good player. He's a young prospect, I'd say, for Navi. He was playing in the Navi Junior lineup that's playing in the We Play Academy League, and he was one of the stars of that league. So, yeah, of course, we're going to miss Simple. He's the greatest player to ever touch Counter-Strike, no doubt about it. We can't really, I guess, neglect the fact that he's not going to be with Navi, but the guy to replace him, Headtrick, is a solid player. So I think people out there can still expect Navi to be very competitive, even in a rough group.
Yeah, I'm quite curious to see Navi without Simple. Yeah. It's such a unique occurrence. It's not something that's going to happen anymore in the future. Just witness and observe these players without their superstar for a second.
Yeah, and of course, moving on to the second team on that list is Complexity. Kind of been a sea of red for them just in terms of the results. Looking back in 2022, but they have had some more luck coming into the RMR qualifier, and they do have Halzak on the cards for them now.
Yeah, listen, will Halzak be enough to reignite the fire in the hearts of the fans of Complexity? I'm not exactly sure. You were mentioning it, the roster before with Junior had massive troubles just finding W's, finding confidence, finding any kind of momentum, really. They struggled from start to finish. Now, I'm excited to see Halzak play again. I thought his time with Dignitas didn't exactly, I guess, make good promise on his future, but I think he has more to give. I think he's got more to offer, and now he's got an opportunity.
I thought he was a player that could have joined NIP and made them better potentially, so the fact that he ended up in Complexity was a bit of a surprise to me, but I agree. My expectations for Complexity are absolutely at a raw bottom right here. I have zero expectations whatsoever, so if they can impress me, win a map or two here, that to me would be a win in itself.
I think the spiciest team coming into Group B has to be that G2. I am so darn excited to see both Hooksy and JKS taken to the stage for the first time for G2 today.
Yeah, and it is so complicated for us to kind of draw the future and make predictions about G2. We have no idea. We have no idea about JKS's level right now. We have no idea about the Counter-Strike Hooksy wants to play. What's his identity? What's his signature? Are we going to see CPH Flames kind of textbook coming into G2? Is he going to try to adapt with the players he's got? So many questions, very little answers.
But there's a few known quantities. Nico, he's a known quantity. Hunter, he's a known quantity. Monacy is starting to become a known quantity. I agree, we don't really know where to put JKS and Hooksy yet. We'll talk more about it, but there is a couple of known quantities within G2. They have star material, and they are good players regardless.
Well, Matthew, you said you had some queries, some questions. So, Hooksy, let's get some answers, courtesy of Banks.
I got Hooksy joining me here now, and fresh G2 shirt, looking good, mate. And I want to say, right, you're the 27-year-old in-game leader. You're now taking over G2. When this offer came around, did you just see this as like the biggest opportunity for your career so far?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think it speaks for itself to play for G2 all of a sudden. I came from starting with Flames a year ago, having absolutely no expectations, to playing for G2 with, I don't know. I've never had such a welcoming day as when we announced the video and people were just sending messages for 48 hours straight, I feel like. So, yeah, for sure, it's a bigger thing than I've ever tried before.
It's the start of a wild ride, and part of that wild ride, though, obviously, when you're on Flames, constantly communicating in Danish, now we move over to English. I've done interviews with you before, I know you can speak it, but are you noticing some slight differences, some difficulties at all?
Yeah, for sure, it is a challenge, because my brain still operates in Danish. So, I have time to think about my answer and then translate it, and then it comes out to you, that's fine. But when we play, it has to be in a split second, And sometimes it maybe takes a bit too long to get it out or find the right word. Also, there's a lot of new spot names for me, and so it's a challenge for sure. But I think that's just natural for everybody when they switch to English. So yeah.
Oh yes. Time will tell, right? You get used to it, you give it a little bit more practice, game time going down. But when it comes to that practice, you and JKS obviously joining into this. How much practice did you get? I know you guys boot camped over in Andorra, so how did that go? Give me some updates on what we're looking at here.
Well, we didn't practice for too long. I would say roughly about a week. It's not bad. It's not perfect either, I would say. I don't expect us to play perfect CS. I expect us to go out and kind of have a brawl, and I think we'll come out of top. So I'm pretty confident.
I absolutely love the honesty coming out of Huxi there. First of all, absolutely amazing personality. I'm really excited to see more of him in those interviews as well. But just speaking about some of the difficulties, as we were kind of alluding to yesterday, Jacob, this is going to be his first time actually leading a top-tier team in English language.
And that's tough. I know it from my own experience, right? It's tough to think in a different language. It's tough to speak in a different language, especially when you're the in-game leader and when you're forced to take split-second decisions, right? You got to be very clear in your communication. You got to be able to make sure that everyone around you understands exactly what's going on and exactly what your vision for X, Y, and Z round is. So it's a massive, massive task for Huxi. I'm confident he can do it though, but it takes a bit of time before you can adjust to it. So I wouldn't expect him to play perfect Counter-Strike, as you also alluded to right here.
It's a huge challenge for him. There's no way around it. If you make a comparison, you look at SDY coming in a Navi, a new player, new rookie, then they just kind of ease him into the roles and everything around him is set and the structure is there and he just has to aim. For Huxi, it's night and day. He cannot just aim. He's the IGL. He's got a lot to do already from the start.
Well, let's get some thoughts from one of the pre-existing members of that G2 squad. It's Nico on the two new additions.
So Nico, some more changes have come through for G2, and hopefully this is going to be what you guys want. But I want to just touch on JKS, Huxi. What do you make of them so far? Obviously, you've seen what JKS can do, you've seen what Huxi can do, but how is it playing with them?
Yeah, as you mentioned, I think we have seen them both, what they can do, especially Justin, obviously. He's been, I think, amazing player, like, ever since he joined Renegades and in 100 Thieves times as well. So I always kind of saw him as a very good and very stable player, like a super good anchor, and obviously he has proven himself in FaZe as well for this one event. Yeah. And I think it's kind of the player that we really need in the team. I find him kind of as a pillar of the team, like a very strong anchor that we can always rely on him, that we can just leave him by himself and he will get the job done. And for Rasmus, he kind of reminds me a lot of Kerrigan, of the way like how he's calling and how he wants his player to play and help him. So I like that a lot. And obviously when we watched CPH and the way they played, it also kind of looked that way as well. Yeah. They look like they have a lot of freedom. They look like they know when to change the pace, and it looks like that their players like get to decide what they want to do, you know, what's the best to win the round for the team. So I like that a lot, and obviously I was very impressed and surprised by how much work he puts into the game as well, and not just how much work, but how much like efficiency of that work it is. So I'm positively surprised by both of them. I know it's just the start, maybe. So maybe they're overdoing it a little bit, but so far I'm very impressed by both of them, and I'm really looking forward to play the first tournament with them.
That is a really interesting comparison, the fact that Nico there is saying Huxi reminds him kind of like another Danish brother in Kerrigan.
I think there's a lot of in-game leaders in Denmark who are inspired by Kerrigan, who are inspired by Glaive, the way they're calling, the way they're leading the team, the way they're playing on the server as well. They like to go in first, they like to be in the center of the map, you know, where you take map control and you can make the split decisions in the middle of the round. So I understand why he's saying so, but there's a big difference between Kerrigan and Huxi, and that is the experience at this level. Kerrigan has done it for years and years and years. It's still very new for Huxi.
Do you think he reminds him of the Kerrigan that was winning winning the major. Again, that was kicked from teams.
Yeah, maybe we should leave that one to be answered with the games coming up. But before we do that, we need to take a look at Liquid as well. Of course, Yakinda still standing in for a bit of a longer time with this squad. We saw them actually making, some waves in Cologne, going a lot deeper than I think anybody really anticipated, considering, they'd only brought in Yakinda only temporarily as well.
You know what fascinates me about Liquid is that the second Yakinda stepped in, put in that jersey, Liquid became Yakinda's team. And we talked about Yakinda all the time. And he came around in Cologne, he made all the interviews, he was out there, he was taking that space. He kind of embodies Liquid already, and now we have a little bit more time. They've been playing together for more time, and I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of Liquid we are going to have on the server.
Yakinda is here to save North American Counter-Strike, and I truly, truly hope he has it in him to make Liquid play well again. There's so much skill within the lineup. Elise, Nav, you could mention all the players, but if Yakinda can power some motivation into these guys, I still believe Liquid can be very competitive.
Yakinda's mission to make Liquid and apparently North America great again,
It's a big
according
task.
to Pip. Yeah, definitely a huge task on the hands. We can take a look at exactly what is on the cards for our schedule today. Once again, 6 games going down, all best of 1 seeding into next week's absolute gauntlet of games. G2 taking on Team Liquid in just a few, but first, it's Complexity taking on Navi. It's time to flip on over to the B side of this track as a second time the groups are going to be playing down here at the Blast Premier Full Groups 2022. It's Group B on the cards. We've got Navi taking on Complexity first of all, but G2 taking on Liquid as our second best of one series. We can see the video rolling in here. This is a really, really exciting one though, particularly as we've got that new look G2 for the first time, guys.
Yeah, you talk about G2, just quickly on the side of Liquid, there is one player that we haven't talked on that I want to absolutely keep my eye. It's Elise. Elige in Cologne had one of his best tournaments in a very, very long time. And a few people out there have this kind of idea, this hypothesis that it's Yekinda coming in, kind of freeing Elige, and some structural consequences that kind of allowed him to play to his full potential. Were we just talking shit? Were we completely out of our sorts? Or is he again going to provide his best Counter-Strike? To me, it's one of the stories that's out there.
I mean, you could hope. You could hope that he's back to a high level. You could hope that Yekinda coming in will free up Elige a little bit, especially on a map like Mirage, which they're going to play. That is the home ground of Elige. In Connector, that position, he's owning that up, especially on the CT side. Small sample size, I agree. You know, during Cologne, it was looking good for Elige, but I want to see him play consistently well. He is the best player coming out of North American Counter-Strike. He is currently the best player, together with Yekinda on Liquid. So those are the two star players that we need to see a lot from. I hope that's going to be the case, but I want to see it transpire here during the blast.
You just disrespect my man Nav. Is that what just happened? You think I'm going to let you here stand? If you think I'll talk about Nav?
If you think Nav is better than Elige, then we are going to have a problem.
I think it's better than Yekinda.
Okay.
Oh,
so.
damn. Are we going to get
I'm a Naffer.
Wait, what?
I'm a Naffer. I'm out there. So I've always been a Nav fan.
Well, before we get fisticuffs out here, I do just want to get your takes on, how you think Hooksy and JKS are going to be approaching this first game now that we know it's going to be going down on Mirage. How are we kind of expecting the stylistic elements of G2 to be showing up?
I think that we can allow ourselves to have higher demands and higher requests on JKS from the get-go rather than Hooksy. I think JKS is supposed to plug in for Jax's positions and be strong from the very first minute. I don't think we're going to allow him too much leeway. When it comes to Hooksy, I'm ready to be a bit more forgiving, a bit more tolerant, and give him a little bit of time to find his position, his groove, adapt to a couple of new roles that Xtaz was talking about. So high demands on JKS for Hooksy. Let's see where this is going.
I want to lower the bar a little bit for JKS. I said it yesterday, I'm going to say it one more time here. We've seen him play 10 maps for FaZe as a stand-in during Katowice, and that's all he's played in 22 so far. When he was in Complexity the last 6 months, he wasn't really playing up to par. He wasn't really up there where it was looking good for JKS. So I'm not sure what to expect from this man. I think he's a stable player. I think he's going to be good down the line. But let's be honest, he hasn't played a lot of official Counter-Strike in the past 6 months.
You know what? You're absolutely correct. And I was trying to figure out, why am I believing in him so much? Where is that confidence coming from? There is actually no logic. But then I deep dive in the stats, and I realized that Katowice, before that, he hadn't played in 4 months. Yeah. He was in complete darkness. He showed up in Katowice and he did that great of a job with FaZe. And I think in my heart that meant, okay, the man is just bulletproof. Like, I know he's going to come in, he's going to play good Counter-Strike because he's done it in the past.
I want to add to that point as well. I was reading in a HLTV interview that 2 months prior to that, he didn't even have a PC coming into that Katowice tournament for FaZe and didn't even drop a single series there. So yeah, absolutely incredible stuff from JKS. Thoroughly looking forward to seeing him inside the server today. But we do have to talk about our first game on the cards. It is Navi taking on Complexity as well. Obviously, the big story with Navi coming into this, unfortunately, Simple not able to attend for the first week, just due to some personal reasons. He will be returning for the second week, though. Jacob, because you're at Replay Academy, you saw the stand-in that's going to be coming in for the side of Navi. Can you give us a little bit of a TLDR on what we should be expecting from him?
I think we can expect some firepower on the server. I think he's a good player. I think he's a solid player. I'm also watching him stream from time to time. It's a player that is putting in a lot of hours to the game, both in practice, but also outside of practice, playing FPL, playing Face It all the time. So a player that is really thriving in the game, a player that is committing a lot of time to it. And as you said, during the Replay Academy League, it's all the talents. It's the new generation coming in there. And it was clear to see that he was miles ahead of most players in there. An MVP candidate for a couple of seasons, up there with the best in that league. So again, he's replacing Simple. He's replacing the AWP as well. That's going to be a question mark. Will he take up the AWP, or will he continue to play with the rifle, which he does the majority of the time in Navi Junior? Not quite sure, but it's a player that can definitely hold up to his own, and I think that's all Navi need.
And look, aside from stats, obviously Jacob is more of an expert than I am on Hetrick. I don't really know the guy so much. I haven't seen him play so much. He might be able to shoot straight, but here is the problem. Here's the thing. The impact and the influence that Simple is having on Navi is something that is unique. When you have Simple in your team, within the rounds, he dictates whatever the hell is happening. He's someone that always gives impulsion, gives waves, moves, commands what is going to happen, and takes the bull by the horn. I don't think Hetrick is able to do that. There's no way he would do it anywhere near Simple. So what does that mean? It means that that burden falls off other players. It means that Electronic will have to do it more. It means Bit will have to be a bit more responsible as well. And this is what I'm looking forward to seeing. How do other Navi players react to that lackluster, or rather the lack of impulse from Simple isn't here right now?
Well, speaking of some of the other Navi players, we do have a few words from Sumda Young heading into the full groups.
SDY, you're here on Navi, right? You're now not with Simple. You've got two stand-ins technically with you standing in. So what was the practice time like with Hetrick? What do you make of this young player?
Yeah, we had only 1 week of practice, but overall it was kind of good, I can say. We did a lot of things that we do before. We just tell him everything that he needs to know, and we're trying to help him as much as we can. But he's a really friendly guy and good player, and if he will feel good enough, he will be good enough too.
Nice, so the confidence can be there. But I actually want to talk about confidence with you, because I remember at Cologne, after that finals, right, you said yourself, you weren't too sure, you wanted to do better, but now Navi decides to stick with you as a standing until after the major. Does that make you feel better? Does that fill you with more confidence? Like, what did you feel like when you heard that was happening?
Yeah, for sure I have more confidence now, and even when we practice with hat-tricks this week, I feel that I'm playing much better than I did before.
Nice.
And I hope I will bring it to the games today.
And in today's game, right, it's complexity. They've added a European player into the mix, but obviously when it comes to a team like this, they've not been having any success against European teams or even the top tier teams for a long time. Do you feel like this is like a nice warm-up for the official game with Headtrick?
I don't like to think that way. Like,
You're too nice.
You need to count on every team that play in tier 1 tournaments, because it's their opportunity and they will try to show their best. So we will do the same, and the best team will win.
The best team will win. You've got that Blade style answer, you know, where you just want to make sure, not overconfident, making sure it works. But also, I'm just looking at your hair. We've got a different hair this time. We've gone for a different style. So is this another SDY hair buff?
I hope it is another SDI hair buff, but like it's the same hair. I just did it in another way.
Okay, well, guys, if you want the SDY hair buff, this is how you do it now. Keep the same and then just brush it back a little bit, put some product in it. See how it works.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Not only Counter-Strike insight, but also some beauty tips as well coming out of SDY. But I like what you were saying about Headtrick, the fact that, you know, good vibes coming into the camp. But it might be kind of difficult, you were saying, Jacob, to be integrating him into some of these spots.
I'm just going to pose the question right here, because Headtrick is a talent, right? It's a player that Navi have had under him in Navi Junior, a player that they're counting on for the future, a player they're bringing in instead of Simple. SDY have played fine in Navi so far. They've had some good results, but he's only a stand-in until the major and potentially after. What if Headtrick is coming in and doing well right now? What if Headtrick would be the guy that potentially is playing for the same spot SDY is trying to maintain as well in Navi? That's not necessarily, you know, an internal conflict, but that's a question I do want to pose right here. If Headtrick is coming in and showing us in Tier 1 Counter-Strike that he can do the job to a very, very high level, there could be a case where Navi will have to reconsider whether or not they want to continue with SDY and Headtrick. There's difference in the way the players are playing in terms of their roles, but Headtrick is a young talent that can still be molded into the Navi lineup. So all I'm saying is here that Headtrick is playing for a lot right now. He got the spotlight and he has a chance and an opportunity.
And what a hard opportunity that is. He's supposed to provide greatness to Navi when Simple isn't here.
Yep.
That's when he's supposed to provide that greatness. How hard is it? How hard of an addition is that for Headtrick to be able to win when Navi, when the superstar isn't here?
Yeah.
That's my issue.
Absolutely huge shoes to fill. But I do want to get some thoughts from Blade on this new addition to the squad.
And for Headtrick specifically, right, he stood in for you guys before, but that was back when Simple was still in the team, so he wasn't on the AWP role. Now are you just doing a one-for-one trade? He's literally just taking all Simple's roles, or is there more things that changed?
Yeah, obviously, we don't want to change completely our game because of one day. So yeah, Headtrick just will try to fit in roles of Simple.
And in terms of that, right, do you feel like you'll be able to position him in a way that he can still have similar impact? Obviously, we don't expect him to have the same numbers. He is not Simple. Or are you focusing on trying to allow other players to shine to fill the void, fill that gap?
On this level, it's kind of hard to play with OP if you don't have a lot of experience. So we don't expect from him to shine really high, but he's young and experienced it, but he still can show what he's capable of, like what potential he has. Yeah, in practice it was really hard for him. We can see that it's another level for him. Yeah. There's a gap. It's hard for us sometimes, but overall, we will try to find balance.
I like the way Blade put it there. It kind of makes sense that, you know, Headtrick coming into things. It's only temporary, him coming into the squad. So they're not going to shift too many things around. Just going to try and get him to have as much impact as possible.
Yeah, it makes sense. You know, again, with the AWP as well, you can't really expect him to pick it up and play it in the same way as Simple is. So I expect to see some more fire rifling coming out of Navi and trying to play into the strength of Headtrick. And then, as you said, man, it will be up to Perfecto. It will be up to Electronic, the rest of the Navi squad, to step up to the occasion and, I guess, fill the void of Simple not being there.
Look, no bullshit talk. They have the quality in the roster to beat complexity without simple as it is. But sure, everyone on that roster is supposed to give more than he usually does because you don't have your superstar by you. But I believe the quality is here to defeat that roster.
Well, speaking of the AWPing equation, let's get a few words on Halzak joining complexity. I guess you were saying, Pimpa, a little bit of a surprise to you. Maybe expect him to go to some other sort of Scandinavian lineups. But yeah, going to complexity, opening thoughts.
I think he's good. I think he's a solid player. He was kind of not necessarily stuck in Dignitas, but he was in a team with a lot of elder guys, let's put it that way, that maybe didn't have the same motivation as he had. Now he's coming into a project like Complexity that is desperate for success. They're desperate to find something working. And I think Halzak could be a step in the right direction. Now, I would have liked to see a change or maybe two more, find some more talent, some more proper talent, some more proven talent. But I think it's a step in the right direction for Complexity. And for Halzak, another great opportunity of showcasing his skill.
Well, let's get a few words from the man himself. It's Halzak with Banks.
Now you're here with Complexity, and I just want to start by saying, for you, right, I feel like you're a character, in terms of what we see from your personality, that you fit quite well into this team. So how's that been going? Do you feel like you fit in already?
Yeah, definitely. I think they're nice guys. We're the same age as well, so I feel like everything, the humor and everything, like we get along very good. So I think like that's gonna not be any problems. So
nice, that's what it's all about, right? You gotta have that synergy out the server as well. Now you also took part in the NARMR. A lot easier than the EU one that you're used to?
Definitely, man. The EU qualifiers, man, they're so hard. They're so hard. So thankfully, I got to play the NA now, and it was a piece of cake.
It was a piece of cake. You guys made it in style. But I also want to ask the fact that when it comes to now you being on a North American team, is there anything that's maybe different or something that's taken you a bit longer to get used to or harder? Or has it been quite easy to just settle straight into the game side of things?
I mean, like, the communication is a big difference. Like, in EU, or at least the teams I played in, they're much more calm. Like, the communication are much more calm. But, like, in this team, they're, like, NA teams, the communication, like, everyone, like, all four people can talk at the same time. So that's been a bit weird. But, we're just playing with them and getting more time with playing with them. It's going to get better and better.
That's what it's all about for sure. But you got Navi today in your opening game. A best of one, and they're without Simple. So does that fill you with more confidence?
Yeah, definitely. Like, Simple is the best player in the world by far. And, like, they didn't get a bad player either to step in for them, but Simple is Simple. So I think we have a very good chance to win today.
Well, we look forward to seeing it. How's it? Good to meet you, man. Thank you very much.
I do like those confident words from Halzak, but yeah, still definitely a tough challenge going up against the beast of Navi. But I do want to see what you guys predicted coming into these opening two games in our Betway predictions. No surprise to see Navi across the board, but I am kind of surprised to see how many people went with Liquid, but maybe that's just me.
It's probably about all the questions we have for G2. A lot of people have no idea what the hell is going on. I just want to quickly mention, even though Simple is in here, there's a testament to the quality of that roster. No one went for Complexity. We're all a bunch of non-believers.
You're smart, Freya. You're smart. You're following the king. Continue with that.
Yeah, you regarding yourself as the king. I guess you were the king from yesterday, but we're going to see exactly how that does pan out. But we do need to throw this one to a quick break before we are jumping into the grounds of Overpass. Complexity taking on Navi without Simple at the helm, but we're going to see how it goes down after this.
We are back. It is the second day here at Blast Premier, and the teams are ready, I've been told. It's going to be an interesting game that's coming up, obviously, with Navi and Complexity. Best of one, so, you know, a lot on the line. I don't know, everyone went for Navi. Is there any reason to think that might not happen?
I mean, look, there's always an outside chance, but I'm not even going to try and pump it up. No, I think the big thing with Complexity is just with Halzer coming in now, we obviously kind of knew some of the struggles from watching Junior within the roster for some time. Can this new offer actually provide some things that maybe free up some of the other players? Because remember, like, you know, Grim going over to Liquid felt like he had real potential, and kind of when he's gone back to Complexity, it's kind of dropped off and it's disappeared a little bit. Same with Fang, was kind of an upcoming player we talked about with potential out of North America. We haven't seen that in this Complexity roster, so you're hoping that Halzer can provide some things that reactivate the other individuals.
They certainly need it for this one, and I think this is one of the times certainly where the best of one format is going to be favoring Complexity. If anything, if you want to have an upset, it's better to do it really fast and quick and then just leave Navi in the dust. It's going to be very tricky, especially maybe on overpass. It'll be Navi starting on the CT side with Complexity on the T side. Already JT, he's going to have a fair few people out there. Glock versus USP at range. Could be tricky. It's going to be retreating from that fight, actually. Gets caught nearly. Lucky to be alive. They're still hunting him, and they will be successful in that hunt as well. Grim taking down Bit. Now there's a bit of a flank coming in. Electronic hoping for that quick headshot. Eventually will clear out JT, and that's something to maybe consider. They're still going to be planting the bomb right away in this 4-on-4.
Yeah, but is it an advantage? Look at the way they're boxed in. Two players coming up highway, especially with that kill. Complexity has to get aggressive here. They have to win these fights towards CT spawn, and Perfecto knows it. He's going to sink back, and the retake is coming in.
Fang, a little bit of pressure. He's not sure if anyone's behind him, but what a great headshot to take down Electronic. And just like that, they have the man advantage. Perfecto and Head Trick. I'm not sure if this is going to be an easy retake, although with headshots like that, maybe they're going to be just fine. Still have some time. Smoke has been picked up. Still not seeing a kit anywhere, so it's going to be the full 10-second defuse, which is a long time to be on that bomb. They have to go for it. And Head Trick, he had to get that fight, or they weren't going to be able to do it. It's going to be down to the wire anyway. He did get the triple. Oh, man, that is so close. What a way to start. Navi will pick up the pistol.
Yeah, you got to say, though, too, a rough sequence there for Grim in the 2v2. I think that's a team flash that comes out from him from Bank that actually blinds up Fang at the truck, so he couldn't take any kind of a fight. So miscue there, and they lose the pistol round. Otherwise, it was looking pretty decent for Complexity, finding themselves some good frags to get out of a sticky situation. Fang had a nice kill, all before the flashbang comes in, and nice flank from Navi to really activate this pistol round. Head Trick with a nice headshot onto Grim.
It looked like he placed his crosshair at head height, except it's on a stairwell, so it's kind of hard to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Normally you try and use boxes or whatever else to sort of, you know, remind yourself where that is, but...
Get your bearings.
Yeah, well done.
Second round bye for Complexity with the bomb plant. AK-47s on the board for Grim and Fang. Galil's on JT and Floppy. What they're missing is nades. They got none.
Position for Electronic. How do you even read it? I feel like JT might have been able to see the feet there, but it's such an unusual position. You're not even, your brain is not registering that could be somebody's shoes, you know, on the railing.
Yeah, really hard position to clear out. Bit just biding his time at the staircase. He's going to start getting wrapped upon, so he's got nowhere to go. He's kind of in this position until an opportunity presents itself, either one for escape or one for a fight. We'll see if Fang and Halzer have any interest in trying to clear out stairs from up top. Grim's going to give it up now.
Being allowed to hang out in here is it's such a great position to be in, especially with Young right next to him. They're covering the entire central part of the map. And in the meantime, Complexity setting up outside of the B bomb site.
It's just going to be contact play, right? There's no nades, remember. So they're going to be walking out towards the B bomb site, walking through Monster and challenging up against Perfecto. 1-for-1 trade. There's a couple of SMGs on the board. Excuse me, one SMG, one FAMAS now. STY has that. His position is given up, but the Molotov is going to change the route. Good shot from Grim, and Head Trick's there for the rebuttal. 22 seconds on the clock.
And that bomb drop back there is a big issue. Grim's already low on health. Also, it's in a lot of trouble, but they managed to win both the fights. That's crazy. I would have assumed that at least they would have been forced to actually try and plant the bomb, but the fights happened before any bomb plant is coming through, and that's going to be a huge turnaround.
There's that SMG coming to hot bit right at the end. He was waiting patiently throughout the entire round for his opportunity. That's an important kill for Grim, but he had the jump on the player. He had the jump on, I believe, who was that at the end? Halzerk with the Galil, and still not able to pull it out. So good clutch from Complexity. And it's Navi's turn to go back and force buy down to pistols and a scout on Head Trick.
I am seeing 3 5.7s. That's rare.
Yeah, changing seasons. Is it 5.7 is in style?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been a good pistol all throughout. Just maybe outdone by some of the other ones. There's a couple of dinks there. Floppy down on the ground.
That's a nice sequence. Doors opened, M4 going to work. Good find from Bit for the equalizing kill. I think they can still protect that weapon. I think the weapon had fallen forward, so now they can have eyes on it at the very least.
Yeah, and it's tempting for the Navi side to try and go and pick it up. So yeah, it's right there. Maybe a bad idea to give it up, although, yeah.
Maybe a bad idea to throw a flashbang.
I was gonna say, why does that always happen? As soon as you pull out a nades.
It's just one of those unexplainable factors of Counter-Strike. Headtrick's got the information. He's spotted one. Nobody's moved yet from Navi to start rotating over. Just now that shift is starting to happen, but Complexity is already using utility and knocking down the front door. Bomb site lost, and Navi's gonna have a decision to make.
Headtrick certainly did not want to stick around for any kind of scout heroics. Trying to close a little bit of time, and they do have armor on 3 people, so maybe they just say that's it. It's not worth it. Get the Galil instead. Try and fight in the next round. I can appreciate that. Probably nothing would have come of it if he would have stuck around to defend the bomb site.
Yeah, and also obviously they're not going to buy in the next round if they're to get wiped out here. So just keep the weapons in hand, and you basically have another dangerous save round, and especially because you can drop that 5-7 over to Bit, and you have a Galil in the hands of Electronic. So 2-1, Complexity with an early lead.
How are you feeling about Overpass these days? What's your? There's been some map discussion coming up recently. I feel like Mirage is always in the community crosshairs, so to speak.
Like Mirage gets a lot of unnecessary hate. I feel I really enjoy Mirage as a map. I don't know. Overpass is in a weird place because it used to occupy that space where it was like one of the more tactical maps that we have.
Yeah.
And now it feels kind of I don't know. I just don't have the same sense about it anymore.
Yeah, I can't explain it either, but there is something about it that it's not putting it in a great place.
It's been losing a lot of favor among teams, even since when I was coaching 2 years ago. It was starting to, or a year and a half ago, it was starting to kind of just talking to other people within the scene, other players and coaches. It was a map that no one was really all that much enjoying to play.
So maybe a candidate for replacement. I think the little info we had is it's been in every major since its release. So it's never been one of the ones that's been cycled out.
So is Mirage.
True. We've got some candidates. Train still out there somewhere. They've been reworking Tuscan, I guess, finally.
Yeah, they added it this time to the rotation.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. I always like Cash better than Tuscan, but I mean, I'm not going to quibble.
Yeah.
It's basically, or not Cash. Why do I keep saying Cash? Mill. I always like Mill more than Tuscan.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, we can. So there might be some actual map rotations happening in the future if the community seems to be enjoying it and it plays competitively.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. Cool.
Well, technical pause coming up here, so hopefully nothing too bad.
It looks like they got something fixed because they're still having their chatting and everything like that. This man on the screen is massively important, I think, as obviously as we all know. But I've grown to just like really, the more I hear Blade talk in interviews and give interviews, the more I just kind of really appreciate the way he talks and thinks about the game. Swapping out some notes here. Can't talk, but you can read.
I like even the pre-game interview that he was given, sort of some real honest and transparency with regards to like difficulty of someone like Headtrick coming in who might be like a talent, but the system that they're playing in at a high level, it's very, very hard to, just slot into that and expect to not have any issues. So.
Well, also in trying to take a little bit of pressure off the stand-in who, it's one thing to stand in for a team. It's another thing to stand in for a team in place of the best player in the world. So, I mean, I think it's easy probably for Headtrick to come in and probably put a lot of pressure on his shoulders to kind of deliver in a similar fashion. I think, not just publicly, but I would imagine privately as well. Blade's just like, look, don't be simple. Don't try and be simple. Do your own thing, and don't feel the pressure whatsoever. Easy thing to say, not exactly an easy thing to always accomplish. Smiles. He's happy.
That's good. I mean, they've come up with something good at the beginning, so they should be.
I'm actually super excited to watch Hulzerk within this team, especially throughout this week, because I know, even when he was added to the old Dignitas roster with all the Swedish legends, I feel like we didn't get a chance to see Dignitas really competing at the highest levels all that much, so I feel like I never got like a really good, clean, consistent look at Hulzerk. I know some of those guys have some very positive thoughts and things to say about him as a teammate and as a player, so this is a cool opportunity for him, I think.
Yeah, it is. We talked about it yesterday. Europeans escaping into the NA region to qualify for majors.
Yeah, he was the tweet. He was like, "I don't miss the European qualifiers," and you can understand why.
Yeah, man. I have some memories and some really good wholesale AWP clips out there somewhere. So I'm sure we'll see some of that down the road. Maybe he's especially happy not to be fighting Simple today, but you know, but maybe having an opponent that could that he can actually have a little bit more success against. We'll see. Everyone still kind of seems like they're tuned in and ready, so hopefully we can get back into the swing of things. Yeah, there we go, and for not too long. Boom. I want to see Complexity keep the momentum now that they've managed to turn around, even losing their pistol. So just keep it going. Don't let Navi in too early.
I wonder, I'm really curious. One of the things about Navi that, I mean, obviously, it's kind of a cool glimpse having Simple out of this team just for this, at least for this event. Just seeing, you know, structurally in terms of the system, how important he is for everyone else's success as well. I'm kind of curious to see who's going to step up in his place, because there's obviously a lot of options with Electronic and Perfecto and Headtrick, or excuse me, not Electronic, Perfecto, and Bit as that kind of consistent core. Like one of those three guys you would expect to be the one to step up.
Without a doubt, yeah, they still have a lot of firepower and confidence on that side, but guess we'll find out. A little bit of a trade. Electronic on the Galil, able to take down Floppy. That's a good wall bang from JT, and he's able to drop Electronic right away. But the scout has shown up, and look at again, the 5-7s are doing so much damage, and they actually managed to defend the bomb site. Still a minute on the clock, but this is a problem for Complexity. How do they recover this round?
Yeah, a huge problem. And they're going to rotate back around. Fang going all the way to long. So Halzer's going to come join up with them. They've got one player to deal with. That's going to be the stand-in. That's going to be Headtrick rotating up the stairs with the scout. Is he going to commit himself to this bomb site? Because Fang's going to be the one to lead the way out long and start probing into the site. There's the smokes going down. So a 2-on-3, likely post-plant situation. Halzer can hear the footsteps, but they're taking a lot of time, Complexity, getting comfortable with this bomb site.
And once again, Headtrick doesn't really need to fight this too much. He just has to live, but they're going to try and hunt him down. That's a nice move from Fang. He keeps going maybe a bit too far. With the bomb down in a 2-on-2, would have been great for him to stay alive. Holzerg now on his own. He's going to take care of Samdai Young, but Perfecto's still up there, and he's got a massive health advantage with that AK on the other side. And Perfecto will win the 1 versus 1 and get Navi back online with just what, a Galil and a scout and some pistols.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think that's Fang just being, getting that first kill is huge. That's a very smart, aggressive play, but then not reining yourself in. Don't go for that second kill. Just back off, play it safe and bank. Play the 2v2 with your teammate. Put Halzerk in a really tough spot, but this is just a good setup. First, the initial double peek from Navi on the first player towards sandbags, and then obviously that player, they lost track of him at Toxic Barrels because he's not peeking off contact. He's hard baiting his teammate to get that one extra kill.
And even losing the battle at the beginning down at the B-bomb site, they lost some of the rifles that then came back to haunt them, both the AKs up there. So they had enough time now to go and pick those up and come back to the A-bomb site. A little bit of an issue as well. All on Headtrick and also one on Halzerg. So we could see a little bit of a fight. It'd be interesting to see how that plays out if they actually find each other. I mean, it's a giant map overpass, which I think is one of the reasons why some players have started to take a dislike to it. It's just that it is so huge. So maybe they won't, but I would like a little bit of an AWP versus AWP fight.
Yeah, we always enjoy that.
Yeah, get a feel for you know, who's having the quicker reactions on any given day.
Molotov to force JT out, but no one is pushing towards sandbags to punish it. Even the flashbang makes JT feel real nervous. Fires off some shots to keep the aggression at bay. Oh, if they walk into this, good shot from Headtrick. Floppy's going to try and trade it off, but that's a great angle. Double kill for Headtrick with the AWP, a 5-on-3 for Navi.
Hard angle to clear as well, because if they try to flash him too deep, he's got a teammate that's really close and probably immune to a flashbang that'll hit him, so a lot to work with. And again, they're playing very passively on this A-bomb side. Once they have the advantage, they don't really want to fight.
In that follow-up second angle from Headtrick, it's so hard to trade. It's such a slight gap that you're kind of just, it's an easy aim for the Opera to kind of line up the second frag. Grim gonna start pressuring the site. Desperate situation, 3-on-5. They need to find these kills. One at bank, two over the truck. There's the first, but way too many crossfires to deal with. And a picture-perfect Navi defense gets them 3.
They seem really confident, Navi, once they have a little bit of a read in just staying real far back on that A-bomb site. They just don't even care. Yeah, that one, yeah, it's not going to be a fight that favors the AK on the other side.
I think there's like a certain level of philosophy in it too when you're playing a team like Complexity that's kind of struggled and hasn't shown a whole lot of success. If you're Navi, like, you don't have to really, you know, don't overcomplicate things. If you're Navi, you don't have to kind of do any kind of crazy moves or rotations. Let's see if they can just beat you standard Counter-Strike. You know, make them, force them into the one who has to make the decision and make the aggressive plays.
they certainly have the confidence. For good reason. Bit there with the AK, chewing them all up. It's a nice quad kill. Bomb is on the ground, and he's looking for the ace. We almost had one yesterday. Floppy's going to steal that one away from Bit, so unfortunate. But still, so far so good. Great round. Hetrick, by the way, is 8-2 at the moment, so he's having himself a nice start to this game. And I mean, you're right. Like if you can just play better Counter-Strike in terms of, you know, who has the aim and everything, maybe that's enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think the name of the game for Navi is just, I mean, mistake-free Counter-Strike. Like, not only are you playing a team that you're massive favorites against, but also with the new stand-in as well. Again, you know, keep things as simplified as possible. You still kind of have a situation where SDY is coming in and still probably not as comfortable as you'd like. So, you know, it's going to be fun watching them throughout this group. But certainly here in this inaugural match with this lineup, yeah, just chill. Bit with aggression. Spotted one, but didn't like the fight that he was offered, and backs away.
Difficult fight to recommit to, because you're really all in out on long like that. You can't easily escape, so probably didn't want to get stuck out there. Floppy taking an advanced angle here at the L-bend really early on. I like that. I think that's a fun trick. Sometimes you can get there way before the CTs even realize, and they can actually back off into you without even realizing.
We've seen this is, I think, the second time early on in this game, just in round number 7, that we've seen Floppy kind of go for this aggressive play over towards sandbags to peek into the B bomb site. And last time he got picked off by a 5-7 and a nade combination. This time he sees absolutely nothing, but obviously somewhere he wants to emphasize. Navi's happy to just sit and wait. Decent amount of utility still left in the coffers. Head trick with full set of nades. B bomb site is the finishing act for complexity.
Yeah, for sure. Floppy's been waiting at this corner the whole round. Very, very patient. See if he's going to get the reward that he really wants here. Electronic takes a lot of damage, but he's still alive. And Perfecto in the meantime, another headshot coming through, this time on Floppy, so didn't get what he wanted there. Now down to 28 seconds, and Electronic is feeling the pressure from all sides. Nice run and gun from Grim, and he's going to find a second headshot to bring down SDY. That's absolutely massive. Smoke to block off the AWP at the sniper spot, and back into a 2-on-2 with 15 seconds. They need this bomb plant right now, and it's been interrupted already once. Bit coming through the kill, and head trick on the other side, pushing through the smoke, and able to get the round. That is, I think that's a pretty decent execute coming out, all things considered, from complexity, but they needed a bit more space at the end.
Well, the big problem too is Perfecto just has a great double kill over at the pillar to start that out. And again, I mean, just buying time for rotations, allowing a flank to come in over to, you know, down the stairs towards sandbags. He does a great job, and he was pretty much the only player there kind of actually fighting. Everyone else from Navi supporting with utility, and complexity not able to trade that kill for some time was brutal. 3-round lead now for Navi. You feel it? You feel it's slipping away? You feel this? Is this the?
It's, unfortunately, it is. You are getting that sense on you that
it's a bit early to get that sense, you know. I mean, it is only 7 rounds in.
Yeah, it's true, but I think the problem is the moment of excitement happens when they win the follow around. Like they lose the pistol, but then they pick it up, and you're like, oh, okay, here we go. There's something to work with. But now it just feels like Navi are shrugging it off and just saying, oh, yeah, whatever. We're right back into it. They don't seem like they're really phased at all.
Yeah, and here's a round where they choose to have some aggression when they know they're up against the pistols, peeking deep through Monster. Nice little pick from Head Trick as well with his AWP. 10 kills now for the stand-in opper. And it's nice and clinical.
What a rare thing to be tested on the battlefield with Navi like this, if you're Head Trick. Even if it turns out it's just for, you know, like 1 week or something like that, if that's a rare thing to be thrown into. Put that on your resume.
Yeah, certainly. I'm looking at it from the other angle as well, where, you know, I don't think we're going to take too much out of this complexity game necessarily, but I mean, if you look forward to some matches that Navi will have against G2, against Liquid as well, if you start seeing a world where this Navi team has this core and this structure provided by Blade to bring in stand-ins with no, like, think about the fact that, you know, they lose their in-game leader. Electronic steps into the in-game leader role. They win their first event. SDY comes in as a stand, and they win their first event. They get second at Cologne. Now they'd still be deadly after the break here in Blast, even with another stand-in of Head Trick. And then all of a sudden, you got to lay a lot of credit at the feet of Blade to be able to just have so many moving pieces while maintaining competitiveness. Very, very difficult thing to do.
And from the academy side too, you know, like obviously some of the philosophy could trickle down into the academy teams, but also if you can sometimes pluck one player out and be like, hey, come play with us for like a week, and then you're back at the academy, but now you have crazy experience. Like it's a crazy luxury to have.
And also when you consider as a coach, I apologize. I'm a little bit of a blade stand these days. The more I've thought about it over the past month, but you think about all the players that he's worked with over the years and like his underrated in terms of talent development and an eye for talent and picking out a talent and young players. He's had his hands in a lot of the stars coming out of the CIS region for the entirety of CSGO.
Definitely, yeah, definitely a history that's probably worth, I don't know, making a little bit more out of some content one day.
Imagine selling Modesty for a high sum over to G2 and then finding Head Trick and being like, yeah, we'll just build up another one.
We'll do it again.
Rinse and repeat.
6-2 the scoreline as we head into the 9th round. It looks like Complexity want to try and clear out long, possibly with a run boost. Oh, right on top. Can work, but Head Trick had his crosshair pretty much exactly where he wanted. I was worried for a second to fly over the run, like the extra.
Yeah, did he fall short? Did the run boost fail, or did he choose to stop short on it? Either way, brutal start to the round for Complexity. 5-on-3 turned into a 3-on-4.
Yeah, it did seem like they were aiming a little bit further down, but maybe not. Perfecto, ooh, that's a decent flashbang to set it up with, but Perfecto just not even worried at all. Going to be bringing down Floppy regardless. JT and Grim now, 2 versus 4, and it doesn't seem like this is going to be possible at all, although with a couple of kills, might have to take that back. Great stuff into a 2-on-2 and a dangerous nade being thrown out. It lands on top of JT, but that could have got Head Trick killed as well. Molotov on top of it. It's going to at least do a little bit more damage, force him out into the AWP, and JT, he's out of the round. Now it's all on Grim here. He's done well so far. He's got 8 kills. Yeah. Oh. It's definitely not. You're right. He's on the wrong side. That's a big issue, but he does get the first one there. Has to almost peek and look for where Bit is. Make sure. Oh, and it's one more headshot. 10 kills and a triple in the round, and Grim saving Complexity on this one.
Yeah, but he really had to take that fight. He had to make sure Bit couldn't cross over. That's not a fight that you really want to be put into a position. That was his only option once he got into the 1v1. Still, right through the scope. Still good shots. There's some of that crisp aim that we know Grim for. That's what made him such an exciting prospect previously. This is a great shot. An unlikely clutch to win. And you gotta say, if you're Complexity right now, one of the things that you can kind of hang your head on, Grim has actually looked pretty solid on these kind of as like the 2nd or 3rd player coming into this B bomb site. There's been 2 or 3 rounds in this game already, even in losses where he's been able to grab 2 critical kills entering into the B bomb site to allow for a plant. Here he gets those 2 and the 1v2 clutch.
They really, really badly needed that round. Could have stopped what Navi were doing. And that's what, they fight that back from a 2-on-4. And it happens really quickly. So probably also a little bit of a momentum boost for the Complexity side. Just feeling like, all right, they might be Navi, and we know that they're really good, but at the same time, we can pull out some magic all on our own. Head Trick out here with the AWP still. There's still some money in the bank for Navi, even losing that round, so that's the other luxury, I guess, of putting some rounds together. I think they end up winning 5 in a row.
Yeah. Ooh, I like this from Fang. This is bold. He's going to get rewarded. There's the first kill onto Head Trick. Bit's got to turn around, and he's got that kill as well. Nicely done. Fang, low HP, had to just hold his ground. SDY eliminates 1. Floppy snuck in as well. So a little bit of bold, quiet, sneaking, aggressive plays from Complexity has caused some chaos in this defense, but even still, it's a 2-on-2 situation.
Yeah, they're really switching it around a lot. I don't think Navi really understand what's happening anymore. A little bit of confusion on their side, potentially. Electronic, though, in the right position, sneaking in, but he's got no cover out here. He's going to get found by Holzerk. Molotov is great, and JT, again, feeling the wrath of it, but he's going to get saved. This time, no AWP there to catch him as he runs out, and Holzerk with the final kill.
That's such a smart play from Floppy to go for that quiet yet aggressive lurk through Monster underneath the ramp towards the B bomb site right after the play that Fang makes, because he knows that's going to pull so much attention. That's definitely at least pulling the rotator, and Fang's gotten a kill, so all of a sudden you realize, you know, he's gotten 2 kills, excuse me. It's going to pull the rotator, and if you're Flop, you're like, okay, there's 1 player here at this bomb site. I'm going to sneak in, and maybe I get lucky timing, maybe I get lucky with an angle, and he finds another kill for his team. So really, really smart decision from Floppy to make a play there.
You could really tell looking at the minimap how out of position Navi ended up being in a number of different occasions in that one round. So nice way to manipulate that defense and make sure they were just all over the place.
Ricky, if I die, I'm also ignore. Don't try and kill him.
All right.
All right.
Last second conversation to get into it here. 11th round.
Navi's out of money.
They are.
This is the final buy that they have. If Complexity can string one more together, we've got a half on our hands. This could be interesting.
Fluffy trying to get through once again. See if he can be a little bit speedy. He's tried it a number of times. And it's ended up being very patient in this position. Seems like Electronic is aware that something could be happening. Flash to come through right as the smoke was in his hands. This is a great hit. Double entry. And they even see the third player back there on SDY. So they could probably chuck a couple of nades at him to make sure he can't really re-engage in the battle that easily. Wow, that is amazing. They should be winning this round.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a save for Navi. If they don't get a kill here pretty soon, okay, this might pull them. This might keep them here a little bit longer. There are no kits on the Navi side. This would have to be fast. And I don't... Oh, excuse me, there is one kit. SDY has one.
But Fang knows that there's no flank coming through at all. He's been checking that out. So, yeah, they have such a good read on where the Navi players are. No point in it. Navi going to have to just escape the round. Complexity fighting back. A little bit surprising. Looked like they were going to get... We just brought it up, you know. It feels like it's slipping out of their control, but they found a little bit of grip strength once again.
Yeah, this is a cool call. I mean, nice and simple. Just to walk over to the B bomb site, let that smoke plume, and we're just going to do an execute and see what we find on the other side of him. And obviously, it's 2 entries. 5-6.
Good to see... Ooh, hold on. Well, that I can't.
Yeah, you can't do that one.
Barely do the American one.
Glad you called it American.
Good to see Floppy finally get a little bit of a reward for having sort of fished out of that angle and trying to play that position a number of times. And he looks super confident in it. Even if they Molotov it out, he's just gonna he's going for it. So nicely done. 5-6 the scoreline. Effectively catching up. And Navi, some saved rifles here. Head trick, so blind for a long, long time. I'm actually impressed he didn't panic more than that. He was like, all right, I guess I'll just wait. Eventually we'll escape. If they steal this round back, Navi, that would be really heartbreaking for Complexity because they have them in a really tight spot.
I think this is one of those rounds where you just tell Head Trick with the AWP, like, you know, you got a little bit of more freedom here. Obviously going for an aggressive peek down the stairs. Now he's got to rotate over towards the B bomb site, which is exactly where Complexity is heading. You've got Perfecto, excuse me, you got Bit on the other side of the map starting to clear out bathrooms as well. So he's calling out that there's no presence here, which is why the Opper Head Trick feels comfortable rotating over, and it's a stack.
It's a huge stack, a lot of pistols and an M4 as well. It's going to work out so well. Perfecto on the double. And Holzerk and Fang, they are left outside of the B bomb site. That's unfortunate. They had a lot of time, Complexity, and they got really deep in the tunnel. They must have felt like one good flash around the corner, and that's all we need. Now we're down to 40 seconds, and they already won a single 2-on-4 earlier in this half. Doing it again seems like it's a little bit too much to ask for.
Yeah, probably not likely. Head Trick with the angle towards sandbags. Oh, that's a fast flick over. Not accurate, doesn't land. Hulzerk gets dropped, and they know exactly where Fang is. So this round is definitely over now. 1 kill for Fang. That's not bad. 1v3, but you only got 18 seconds on the clock. Oh, okay, another headshot.
What an angle to take a fight at. 10 seconds, though, and the bomb is down there. You can see Perfecto's really playing with him. Fang's gonna get 1 more kill, but he's just so far out of time. 5 seconds. He can go straight for it, but... Oh, he's ready for it. He actually could have won the round. That's spectacular from Fang. What a great round.
Yeah, I'll eat my words there. I felt that was over 20 seconds before that occurred. What a cool sequence from Fang. Even the heads up. He knows what's coming next. He knows exactly what the plan is to stop that plant with only 5 seconds remaining. Very few bullets in the chamber. Difficult shot to hit, but what an inspiring attempt at the clutch.
I think especially the second one.
He wanted it so bad.
For me, he had it all figured out. That shows some really cool game sense. I like it. 13th round, though. Navi do steal it back with a nice stack and some saved weapons. They get to fight another day. Bit out here, throwing some bullets over the top of the smoke, but they're coming right through. Double peek in, and it's a good job for Head Trick to at least revenge that kill. Otherwise, it would have been a perfect opening for Complexity.
Yeah, Navi's got to be a little bit careful. Complexity starting to really kind of disrespect the smokes and some of the utility that Navi's finding, and they're really going for some tricky timings in their first moves. Bit cut off, but Head Trick there to find the 1-for-1. Now he's going to get aggressive up highway. He's got Grim right behind the wall.
So scary when you're on your own out here with the AWP. Not a lot has to go wrong before there's no way out. Smoke will allow him to slowly crawl back into it. And a nice headshot. Sundai Young coming up with a kill.
Now, there's no presence over at the B bomb site, which there's been frequently throughout this half. You've seen Floppy over towards sandbags at that corner. You've seen players kind of challenging and spamming through Monster with no utility and no presence outside B. Navi's actually been able to have the read to have 3 players at this A bomb site for some time now. They're prepared for what Complexity's coming with.
Tiny little peek, you're absolutely right. They have a really good understanding of what's coming up. 30 seconds now, a little bit close. Oh, I can't believe that's a headshot. JT able to pick one of them up. Electronic traded as well. And JT's got a little bit of time. 20 seconds, running up the stairs in front. Perfecto, and certainly being heard by JT. Swings for it, and an instant headshot. What a beautiful round. I can't believe they recovered this one either.
Yeah, this is a huge clutch. Another one to keep Complexity alive into this. Perfecto's gonna want that jump back for sure. That jump up onto the garbage can, that's gonna be something he wish he had back. Good trades coming into the site. I think the real loss here for Navi is both the players inside the bomb site. There's the miscue of the round. Both of them playing behind dice boxes.
Yeah.
Neither with any real place to go. We saw previously early on in the half, clean A defense with multiple crossfire setup. One at dice, one at truck, one at bank. They couldn't pull it off this time.
And it must also feel a little bit weird for Navi, because I think they actually peek right on top of the flashbang, and then one of them at least just walks into a bullet, and you must feel like, well, we knew where they were. We were actually interrupting their, attempt at taking the bomb site, and somehow we still lost. So it's kind of hard to explain too. But what a great find. Complexity really coming up with some. They're on the T side. The fact that they're actually doing this well makes this way more interesting.
Yeah, this game, this map just got very, very spicy. Could be looking at an early upset. 7-6, 1-round lead. It's been 4 the last 5 for Complexity.
And if it is, I mean, it's not an upset we could lay at the feet of Hetrick. He's got 14-6. He's done a great job. But obviously Navi as a whole, like we said, structurally are going to be functioning differently no matter what. And Complexity, I think, just also playing maybe better than I was expecting.
Sure. I'll allow it. I mean, Fang and Grim are both having great games, and I mean, every game that Complexity comes into, those two guys are going to be win conditions. Those two guys particularly are kind of like the young potential in North America. Floppy, I think, has already established himself enough to be considered, a solid force to be reckoned with.
I think that's my problem. I keep forgetting how good Fang is.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like
a lot of people did. He was on the rise before he joined Complexity.
Yeah.
His kind of time in this organization has been really rough and probably not a good testament to what he's capable of.
Confidence. He's so ready to take these fights. Gotta be a little bit careful. 9 bullets left, down to 6 here. Still hasn't reloaded, but they've taken the bomb site in great fashion. He swings so wide that it's really hard for anyone on the Navi side to stop them from coming out of the restrooms. The rest of the team, they're going to be joining from that side, and it all works out great. Navi are going to have to save the rest of this round, and they're tying up the scoreline. It's 7-7 leading into the 15th round. I think for me, Grim, obviously, because of his time in Liquid, that's a lot of exposure, so everyone kind of knows his name. And then Floppy, obviously, as like I think an up-and-coming star for a long time.
Was in Cloud9 as well?
Yeah, Cloud9. We know how good Floppy could be, right? So maybe those are the two people for me that end up always overshadowing Fang whenever I think about it. But you see it right here. He's got an enormous amount of confidence, and I mean, he basically almost won that 1 versus 3 earlier, which. And even if he lost it, you still have to sort of nod your head and say, well, he knew everything.
Well, I mean, even the consequences of losing, I think it was a 1v4 to start and he gets 3 kills. Oh, yeah. I mean, just even the consequences of taking that many weapons away. And now you start to see Navi having money issues the last 2-3 rounds of this half. And it's like, okay, even in a loss, look at what Fang has been able to deliver. It's just a weakened CT side economy that they can expose towards the later stages of the half. What a great run Complexity is putting together. I think this is, what, 5 of the last 6 now?
Yeah.
Super impressive.
I actually think this is great. It's good sometimes to be surprised. Sometimes when we do this pick'ems at the start of the day, or if you end up doing it over at Blast.tv, which you should, you can win random things over there. I think that you can win a Lego ship, I think. I don't know if you care about this, Jason, but
I love Legos.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Like a giant super tanker. But yeah, so yeah, if you do that, I look at a match like this and you just think, well, this is easy. Like, of course I know Navi are gonna win this, and everyone else apparently did too. But then you get these kind of shocking situations, and that's more enjoyable. I feel like I'd rather watch this than Navi crushing them 16-4, and you're like, all right, we need
sure,
it's good.
Yeah, a couple nice clutches in there. Yeah, good look at Complexity.
It's good stuff. Perfecto almost catching up to Headtrick, 13 and 15 kills respectively. The rest of them are doing pretty good, all right. It's not that bad for the rest of them, but...
I'm just imagining Jason Lake back in Dallas right now at the offices, watching on the big screen, big bowl of biscuits and gravy in front of him, some good southern comfort food.
Cigar.
Enjoying his morning. Yeah, sure, just like a 8 a.m. cigar. Nothing hits quite like it.
Cigar. Some bourbon. I don't know how this works.
I'm in.
I mean, he's in Texas after all. That's how it is. Perfecto. Flash again. He sees it coming, though. That's a nice little turnaround. A lot of damage and a team kill in the middle of all the confusion. Not quite enough for the kill there on Grim, but it is close and Headtrick. Quick flank coming through and opening that door to take down JT. SDY, he's ready for the battle, but he's got to be careful. This SMG is not that much stopping power, but the flash, I don't know if that might have been a friendly flash. I'm not even sure. Fang is going to eventually get the kill, and it's another flank to come on top. 1 versus 1, and Bit, even with the SMG, probably has the advantage here. Fang, he's been so good. He needs the instant headshot right here. He's already in danger. Flash around the corner, and Bit just looking for another couple of bullets, and he'll win this round, and at least they'll get the last one. But it's Fang again! This time, a headshot to bring down Bit, and they'll come up with the lead instead. Oh, wow. This is going to be such a huge first half for him.
Yeah, 3 big clutches for Complexity in this first half. That's absolutely massive. 8-7 lead, upset on the cards. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
I have no idea where he is. He can go B.
20 seconds.
Oh, I have the bomb. Oh, you have to run.
Let's kill him. Let's kill him.
Kill him, guys. Oh, do we have time?
Kill him. No, I don't have time. I think. Just try to kill him though.
We're coming.
Oh,
I'm clearing B. I'm in tunnels. It's tunnels, I think. T-spawn, I think. Likely, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, right, I think.
Oh! I'll tap B. Just scout him.
Thanks,
God.
It's
okay. It doesn't matter.
I didn't even set the bomb.
Ready? I smoke.
I will be able to re-smoke fallen. More conscious house.
Smoke.
B, minutes.
Mid. Maybe split.
Window.
Blind.
Window, under, stand back.
That B.
Nice, that B1, Just go mid B.
Go B.
Go mid B.
That B is
Nice, that B1 move. Let me one more mid.
Last mid.
AK window, nice! AK window.
Let's go!
Nothing
Nice
second mid. No, I'm picking.
Wait. Let's go close.
Mid pushing.
I'm a peek second mid. Falling 3.
Could be Vietnam.
Second mid.
Boiler,
Pushing. I need help.
Where? In boiler.
Apps and second mid.
Come.
One more here. Slope.
Pull back now.
Apps on. Apps and second mid. Apps.
Banana.
He left to short. He left deep. Can be boiler.
You run way along. I will follow.
I can still do apps more, guys.
One more mid.
One more second mid. That far back. Careful, he's going mid.
I'm in boiler.
I'm good B. I have smoke.
It was long corner, Jackie.
I'm adventuring. Yeah. I left apps, okay? I'm flanking holes. I'm peeking long now.
You want to go long?
Boiler. Mid. Boiler.
Yeah.
Nice. Good job.
I don't see anything. I don't see city. I'm
okay, jungle. Can I boost this stuff, Adam?
Let's pick stealth together, guys. You ready?
Wait a bit. You ready?
Go. 3, 2, 1.
Dead. One more stairs.
Dead.
Go city now.
We have city.
Get ramp. I'm only ramp behind. Yeah, should be one
City
episode
dead.
ramp.
I'm pushing city.
Open jungle.
Nice, guys.
Don't take up, Madden. Okay, take it.
Here we go. We're back once again. Second half is coming. It is a best of 1, so the fact that Complexity somehow get out with 8 rounds in their opening half, in part, large part, due to Fang and his tricks.
Yeah, a 1v2 from Grim, a 1v1 from JT, a 1v1 from Fang, almost a 1v4 from Fang. They got the benefit of a lot of clutches in that first half. We'll see if Navi can reverse the fortunes here. They did win the pistol round in the first half, but I mean, certainly just from a very general perspective, you'd say 8 rounds on your T side, switching over to quote-unquote the easier side of Overpass. It has complexity in the driver's seat at the moment, which was not on a lot of people's bingo cards today.
No, it wasn't. We like a good upset to spice things up a little bit.
And a good game of bingo.
Yeah, that you spend your time on that a lot. Is that we should have more Counter-Strike bingo, shouldn't we?
Sure.
A little bit of cross. Collateral damage, I believe. Bit ran right into that, and it's another headshot. 4 in a row for Holzerk, showing his skill. We talked about it earlier. Didn't get to see too much of it in the first half, but that is a way to get started. Now, the ace is quite far away. Are they going to send him running? Maybe send some people scouting? Just SDY left, but that second kill is hilarious.
Yeah, that really was. Just clotheslines them, walk right into it. We love those kills with the USP. I think Navi's going to need someone like Bit to step up and provide some energy. I think Electronic is probably going to start having, you know, he's been phenomenal individually since he swapped in-game leader, but I think you're putting a lot on his plate now as a new in-game. We have to remember, this is very recent. So you have SDY still getting acclimated. You have a stand-in as well. You don't have his normal you don't have his normal kind of star player of Simple there that you don't really have to think about too much during the games. Electronic's got a lot on his plate trying to make this all work. So I think I got to look towards Bit in this half to provide something to get some energy in this team, because this Navi squad, well, it started out in the first half clinical, efficient, just standard, you know, fundamental Counter-Strike. Now it feels flat. Now it feels like there's not a whole lot of energy and a whole lot of power coming out of this Navi side. So someone's going to have to wake them up in this second half.
And I mean, what that's interesting to think about, because that is one of the things that we know Simple really brings to the team sometimes. Sometimes he will just win an odd 1 versus 3, you know.
For no reason, yeah.
Yeah, for no reason, even though he shouldn't. And that's obviously, that's a luxury. If you play long enough with Simple, maybe you don't even think about it.
It's like a handicap, right? You don't even realize you have it.
Yeah, you just only when he's gone you realize, oh, wait a minute, this is actually, we're not winning those rounds.
And remember too, like, he's part of his progression these past like year or two, he's become a much more vocal leadership figure within the team as well. Like, you see him constantly talking to teammates during timeouts and constantly making sure people are engaged. And yeah, that's a big factor to be missing right now.
But we always talk about Navi having such a deep, you know, talent pool, and they do. So maybe someone else is going to be getting out from under. I mean, for a long time, people have thought about this. You know, what if Bit just becomes straight up the competition within the team to try and get there? Now is his chance to try and show, yeah, you know, even if Simple's not here, I'm going to be putting up the numbers. And so far, he's still on track. I mean, he could still have a great map. So we'll see. Pistols, Deagles this time instead of the 5.7s.
There's no numbers that are really frightening if you look down like the Navi scoreboard. It's just like the impact felt of some of those kills isn't as high as you'd like it to be, and obviously that'll happen losing 3 clutches in the first half.
Sure.
So this second half is all about recovery. Deagles on the board for Navi. No utility, so it's going to be slow paced and giving these Deagles a lot of time to find some defender making a mistake, making some over-aggression, whatever it might be. There was the first opportunity. Second one coming up shortly. Bit goes down.
Good bit of cleanup here, just especially with the SMGs. Ooh, looked like he had the idea. Head trick defending whatever is left of the pizza from the birthday party.
Leftover pizza is an amazing thing. It's S tier.
But how do you reheat it? Oven or microwave?
I don't reheat leftover pizza. You eat that shit cold.
Absolute uncultured savage. That's so definitely the wrong answer.
A little bit of Parmesan, a little bit of crushed red pepper. Call it day. Here we go. Floppy's got a chance. Electronic goes down. 2 more to find. Good flashbang from Holzer. He was very Johnny on the spot with that one. 3 quick kills, and Complexity still winning.
And stayed alive at the end, even after the accidental unscrewing of the silencer. There's got to be a way to stop that from happening.
To unbind it when you have the M4?
Yeah, like in your config, like it just knows that it just unbinds the secondary fire when you pull. I don't know. It's crazy.
There's got to be a way.
How many rounds have been lost? Do we have the statistics? Like how many 1v1s have been lost to that? Or the jumping? Scroll.
Or inspecting weapons.
Got some culprits here. 3-round lead for the Complexity side. Navi back with rifles, and we've painted a lot of different ways that maybe Navi could, you know, players that could bring them back in. But now, kind of time for them to show us exactly how this is going to work out. Fang, they're up close against the M4, and he's going to get traded. Grim will get one of them there, but almost JT not getting back around the corner. So 1-for-1 trade and about even damage there between JT and Perfecto. So they slow it down, Navi, with plenty of time on the clock.
Where's the next move going to be made? Very quiet across the map. Halzark and Grim over at A. Relatively aggressive defense as Grim is just keeping an eye on long, but he's in a position to turn and help out Halzark whenever it's needed. JT and Floppy over towards the B bomb site. Navi's gone completely silent.
Halzark's going to go investigate. This is always risky, but it's such a cool idea if you don't know what's happening across the map to actually find out on the CT side. And they get the trade on Grim once again, so backfires a little bit with Halzark. Oh, he just makes a huge assumption.
No, it's because with the utilities being spent. That's a little bit of a fake thrown in there from Complexity. Smokes and utility being thrown towards the B bomb site, and Grim felt like he had to bail out to get a jump on a rotation. I think he just gets punished. Headtrick obviously knew the whole time he'd been dinked. He was low HP, and Complexity's not going for it.
Would you say that's an excusable thing to make a run for, or are they a little bit jumpy? Is that like the pressure getting to them, or do you think it's just like, you know, you could also say that if he doesn't run quick and it actually is an execution, well, then he's late, you know? So
yeah, I mean, I think that's a decision. I mean, that kind of a criticism would certainly be made in hindsight. I think his full-blown knife out, forget about the rest of the map kind of evacuation might be a little bit much, but
I prefer to make the criticism in hindsight. That way I know I'm right.
That way you know all the answers.
Yeah. It's way better. It's like taking the exam with a cheat sheet right in front of you.
Yeah?
It's great.
Do some of that too? Is that what you're advocating out to the world?
So given the path my educational, if I did, people shouldn't follow it, you know. But I'm not admitting to anything on when it's being recorded, Jason. I know enough of it.
Wonder what it's
Not
like
without a lawyer present.
I wonder what it's like for Headtrick to look down at this entire packet of notes and be like, oh god.
Yeah, speaking of which, taking somebody else's note to an exam and you're like, I don't know what any of this is.
Yep.
Fair enough. Round number 19, and Bit hanging around out by the playground. Gonna be almost fighting two people here, but he actually will stick a little bit further back. That's interesting. Pushing through the smoke now. He does sense that something is up out there. Doesn't really know what it is yet.
He's taken the peek through the smoke a couple of times, and he always missed the timing on finding JT's aggression. So JT at the moment, a snake in the grass. Bit might be very cautious out towards long. He'll never expect JT to be up in playground already. This should be at least one freebie kill. And if there's some trigger discipline, JT could have more.
Oh, what a nice shot. Halzark back with it, and there's the discipline, there's the patience you were talking about. Gets the kill on Electronic, and that should dissolve the round here for Navi. 2 versus 4.
What a disgusting sequence for the Deagle from Halzark. 2 quick kills, top stairs, makes things real easy for JT. I don't really know what you have left if you're Headtrick and SDY. Go through Monster quietly, no utility. You know Navi have the information, you know they have control of the map. And you got to know this is going to be a tough fight you're wandering into.
Yeah, just walk in on contact and just hope to get the first headshot, make it a 2-on-3, and then just roll with it from there on out. But it feels very, very unlikely. And they have such a good understanding here. Floppy to take down SDY, and Headtrick 1 versus 4, flashed out and eventually taken down by Grim.
He's happy to have Halzark in there after that round. Yeah.
Plus, I mean, I don't know if there were many other choices, but I love the idea of getting it takes a bullet here, a couple of bullets here to that, so 4 left, and he's like, I'm not reloading. I'm ready. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to be prepared for that fight. If you reload, you're absolutely dead. If you at least take the risk. Navi's getting swept aside. They have no answers at the moment. 3rd timeout used.
Now we can start to feel a bit worried, but in the opposite direction. It's what an interesting day, or an interesting way to get started. Obviously, a little bit later on today, what have we got? G2 versus Liquid?
Yeah, which is another really spicy. That's the next matchup. That's going to be coming quick after this one finishes, and that's one you don't want to go anywhere for.
Nice. Whenever that happens, I keep thinking of, do you remember the Prince of Persia game, like the old platform 2D ones?
Okay, yeah.
When you jump into, like, they have like these glass sheets that like cut you up in two.
Okay.
That's what I keep thinking of.
All right, that's a weird thing to have triggered in your brain.
Yeah, I guess. What an annoying game to play. Waste 100 hours of your life doing it.
No, 100 hours of your life. I've never played it.
Well, there's always time, Jason.
There's always time.
3-round gap. There's not that much, but energy you were talking about from Navi, it's not there.
No, it's not. It feels very, very subdued, and that was one of the points. I mean, we have so much conversation, obviously, around Simple missing this with his play with the AWP, but I think in the other sense, that emotional and vocal energy that he provides is one thing it feels like they're missing the most in this game, because you actually have, as you mentioned earlier, Headtrick with the AWP performing very, very well. 18 kills for him as stand-in, leading the way for Navi.
Yeah, and that's great. But we don't have the same fear on the complexity side that maybe we normally see. They feel like they're ready to take it. I mean, Fang was showing so much confidence in the first half. And in the second half, now that they've got the lead, I mean, it's surely just building round for round. Look at how far outside of the B bomb site they are. Far enough that they can have 3 people in A at the moment, and probably a really quick rotation. So should be a good round here for complexity. A little bit of an unfortunate timing, but they're able to clean it up without a single casualty on the complexity side.
Halzerk was like, oh man, these are ego kills coming in. I don't want to sit here and watch long. I want to turn the corner and spray down 3.
It's a classic.
4-round lead, 12-8. Not a whole lot of time for Navi to get back in this game. 1 round so far in the second half on offense. They need answers. They need them right now.
You know what they're really missing on the complexity side?
What's that?
Trash talking.
Fang got some at the end when he won that clutch.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, he got in there a bit. Well, you know, funnily enough, they've kind of been trash talking in a way. They're probably one of the best teams to find a headline, at least the previous roster. You know, between Grim saying, you know, all the pressure's on our opponents because who the hell wants to lose the complexity? That's one version of trash talk.
Incredibly.
It's not the best version of trash talk.
I like it. I like it. It's an opportunity, you know? Maybe that's something they can warm up into if they win this game. Which currently they're 4 rounds away from doing, so moving in the right direction. That is a cool move once again. Put some pressure on Navi.
Oh, that's a less cool move. Losing track of where your teammate is and shooting Fang in the side of the hip. Headtrick's found an opening pick. Navi needs this round. Fang is still being aggressive. He's still being proactive on the map. And he's put in a position where he can hear a lot of information. He can have a fast flank in a number of different ways, but he can just be patient. There's a lot of things you can gather from this spot.
Possibly just trying to get away from JT at this point in time. Oh, I can't believe Perfecto gets the snapback. It looked like he was already looking the wrong way. JT, a lot of range here for the M4, but he's going to get traded. And this is still working out great for Navi. 2 versus 4 at the moment with 35 seconds. That's maybe the only downside is the time that's left here. Grim does have a Molotov, so the bomb making its way. If everything goes wrong for Navi, that's maybe the only way they could lose this one. Time and a Molotov.
Well, Electronics is making his play through Monster right now, but I don't think there's enough time for them, or not Electronics, excuse me. That's SDY, but I don't think there's enough time to really take advantage of it now that he's seeing that it's clear they still have to move forward. So yeah, this is awkward. It's instead of a 4-on-2, it's actually a 3-on-2 at this bomb site. Oh, there goes Grim. They needed a clean entrance, and Bit delivers.
That is such a disgusting opening. Floppy tries to fight it back, but it's a 1 versus 3, and he's going to get found at the end. But again, imagine a world in which 1 Bit maybe doesn't get that entry, but also if he actually throws down the Molotov in front, they would have to really struggle to try and even find the bomb plant. That's way closer than it should have been.
Yeah, to find safety for the bomb plant. And even that was the head scratcher for me, was SDY making that kind of information play towards the B bomb site with like 18 seconds left. You can't rotate the bomb back in that kind of time, and the flank is not going to be there in time to have impact. So SDY kind of took himself out of that round, and Navi still thankfully finds a clean entrance to get the win.
And, you know, honestly, Perfecto probably should have been dead down in that connector. That's such an odd position for Fang to be in to begin with.
You know, it's almost like there's a little bit of like a... I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. But like you just, like Fang probably felt so confident in that corner that no one was going to check it at that stage in the round that he just kind of fell asleep at the wheel, you know? You're just like, there's no way I'm losing this.
Yeah.
In his head, he's like, there's a 0% chance. that I get checked.
It's almost certainly a German word that sums up everything you just said. Like
probably the Germans would have a word for that.
They would. We'll get someone to help us out. 3 round difference once again. Navi able to pick it up. Deep nade here. Money is pretty much gone for the complexity side. So if they want a chance at keeping Navi at a distance here and make sure the gap doesn't close maybe too quickly, then this is going to be a really pivotal round. I still love the aggression. JT all the way out there, outside of the B bomb site. Very flexible. If anything fast happens on the A bomb side, he could be there so quick. Right, so he's not really sure yet if anyone's actually in connector, but he's going to find out. Also sneaking up, but the timing is so ridiculous. He almost spotted him, but now he's actually in a lot of danger. There's nobody next to him. Both his teammates are out long right now, so he's just playing this really with no help, and he can't start to scope around now. It'll give away the entire game, so goes back up, still scoped. I don't think they know that he's there either, so just a question of timing and electronic. He's not going to be quick enough for it. Also, he gets the kill that he needed and is immediately traded.
Yeah, but now Fang gets to move forward. Now he gets to make his play, and this is a little bit of a double flank. Even if Fang goes down, Grim is going to be here. Oh, they spot one. That's the bomb. They got to come back for Fang. He's got another, and they still don't know about Grim. He'll find head trick as he wraps around, and this is perfect for complexity. 13-9, and yeah, Fang almost can't believe it. I don't know, that's just basic excitement, and yeah.
I love it. I love the energy and almost the mirror on the Navi side, like the frustration.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I was going to say the contrast of different things, and I think Electronic maybe individually frustrated, perhaps leaking into the team as well, and a little bit of his perspective on how things are working. Again, he's got a lot of moving parts right now, Navi, with all the different stand-in situations they have going on, and it's got to be tough to keep control of everything at the moment.
And the fact that you're running out of cash doesn't really typically help either. Some deagles being picked up, but that's about it. Really high chance right now the complexity will end up at 14. And this push from JT, the different varieties, but I mean, if Navi realize, maybe that's something that they could try and exploit a little bit. Say, all right, if you're going to be that aggressive outside of the B-bomb side, maybe eventually we're going to try and come snatch you up out there. Oof. All right, he's fine. It's all good. And deep in T-spawn, Floppy is on a mission. Again, not that it's probably needed in this particular round. They're probably going to be fine either way. But complexity are... You're getting a lot of map control. Even in the rifle rounds. Oh, Floppy. Oh, knife is out. I was going to say, that could have actually been a little bit scary.
I mean, look at all the confidence complexity's playing with. Like these, we saw JT doing some pushes earlier. We saw Fang doing some pushes earlier. Now we've got Floppy pushing up as well. They're feeling very comfortable. The double push into bathrooms in the previous round. Complexity has no issue working up the courage to move across the map on this CT side.
25 seconds, and I mean, surely at this point you just try to run so that you can be sure to die. You could maybe get a bomb plant if things go really crazy. 18 seconds here. And head trick, he's been found out as well. Flawless round for the complexity side. And they get to 14. This is crazy.
Yeah, I think this is where you really feel like Navi just a little bit lost at the moment. Not a whole lot of initiative being taken across the map. Not a whole lot of ideas coming out from any of these players. This feels like a very passive, calm T side so far.
They need to change that pretty much instantly. 19 kills on Fang, but then Floppy and Grim right there with him. Also not that far behind either. They're putting up great numbers. And it started to show. Also, he was so flashed, and he still got the kill. JT did to follow it up, but that is, again, tripling down on the aggression here on the CT side for complexity. Another flash to set it up, and at least they turned the corner without dying, but they don't quite get the kill on him.
Yeah, but I like that Navi's really challenging, and even coming back for a challenge after the initial kill as well. The flashbang and just say, all right, if you're going to be aggressive, at least we know where you are. Let's go chase after it. So good damage done to Holzark and Grim in a 4v4, and they've gained some piece of map control. SDY's turn to beat the smoke, but he chooses to call it off right at the end.
And to be fair, for Navi's point of view, a lot of the time when there has been aggression, it's just been JT on his own.
This is where I'm curious what Navi's going to be doing. This is what's kind of made me a little uneasy throughout this half is where's the play being made? Where's the pressure being applied? Everyone is just kind of paused at the moment and not really moving forward. Bit is looking for this aggression, and the timing is everything.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. A little bit of a flash to draw some attention away. There's nobody out here. Bit is really on his own, so he snuck up quite far. Might be hard to find at this point in time, and oh, that is an angle to get. Did get tagged himself, so Holzerk managed to let a bullet out, but he should be dead. Is the bomb, though, still headed towards the B bomb site? So Fang is going to look and say, well, there's no one here, and it's all going to be at the B bomb site. 20 seconds left. Floppy is here close. Grim not that far behind either. And they're going to get some good damage in. Headshot as he falls back down the ramp. Floppy doing it all on his own. Didn't even need the backup. Finally, Grim showing up, and they'll get another round. 15 on the board. Complexity looking great.
Yeah, there's the shit talk you wanted. There he is, getting a little bit loud in the room.
I like it.
Yeah, all smiles on Complexity. They have not had a whole lot to smile about these past few months, so this is a cool win from them so far. They've got a lot of opportunities to close this map. 6 chances now to take their first victory at Blast Premier.
Yeah, and against the Navi team without Simple.
The boys are looking clean. Not really smack talking yet. He's more hyping up the team at the moment. He hasn't gotten to the aggressive, put down the opposition phase of his career.
He'll get there. He's still young.
Yeah, he'll learn.
It'll happen. But he's upgraded from the nice. Ooh, Sundai Young getting a kill on JT. Down to Galil's here on the T side. Trying to roll any kind of momentum they can forward here. Does take a lot of damage, though. But it's true. I mean, you mentioned in the last round how Navi for a long time just there's a lot of slowing down with no even map control getting gained, right? Just kind of hoping to find someone wandering into a crosshair. Need to see that change just a little bit. This time they're all grouped up in the restrooms. They got Fang up close with Holzerk behind on that AWP, so could be a strong 1-2 punch. Could also be interrupted if pressure comes in from long. Fang might be on his own if Holzerk has to switch out and start to look that way. Well, they know. Look at this. Bringing in Grim.
Yeah, this is perfect. What a great setup. If Holzerk can take contact, Fang's in a tough position. Does he get cleared? Oh, Grim. Double kill from him. Sets up Fang. Sets up Holzerk. And 16-9. Complexity have done it. An upset on map number 1 for Complexity over Navi.
It's going to be an amazing feeling. Not something that I was expecting. It looked like no one really was today. So that's an interesting way to get this day 2 started. And you know, how far can they go with it? It's a big question now.
Yeah, set the tone. How far can they go with it? And then how far can Navi go? Because there's obviously some things that they need to talk about and discuss and reset and figure out for the future of how this lineup is going to be competing in this group. But literally everyone in Complexity just feeling probably like they won the major at the moment.
Yeah, good stuff. That's unexpected.
That Dallas Star looks good in victory.
Does makes a difference.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just I'm pleased. Fang was playing, you know, about as good as I remember when I actually do remember it.
Yeah, Fang had a great game. Grim had a great game. Holzerk had a great game as well. Those 3 players were fantastic in Complexity take that win. We're gonna get James Banks to have a conversation and see what all the jubilation is down there.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I've got a very excited Fang next to me. It's been a long time since you guys beat a team over here, right?
Yeah,
how does this one feel?
Oh, it feels crazy. I mean, I'm honestly at lost for words right now. I mean, obviously Navi, they don't have Simple, but at the end of the day, being Navi is being Navi. And for us, it's been, you know, a tough first half of the year, and coming in this game, it's just super nice, you know, actually get a win, play some cohesion, and just show that, you know, we're here to play.
Now, what was the turning point, right? Because they were down 6-2, then we end up winning the half 8-7, right? You guys looking really good. But it felt to me like you guys were just playing with super confidence. You just started disrespecting them. Like, you just crispy aim. They didn't really stand a chance, mate.
I don't know. I kind of made a mid-round adjustment toward working toward A, because they're playing more heavy toward B and blocking some of our, you know, set protocols and stuff we had toward that part of the map. I think that shook them up a bit, and then J2 is just making some really good mid-round adjustments, stuff like that, and changing the tempo toward the later part of half, ending B. So I don't know. It's just super well done, honestly, by everybody.
It was well done by you guys for sure. Hopefully it continues. Fang getting the job done here. We'll have to see how the rest of the games go.